everybody, and welcome back to Mel's Board Game Room. So I was giving a copy of Woodcraft by Rio Grande game, which was designed by Vladimir, Suchy, and Ross Arnold. And I finally got it to the table this week. This is a game that has been intriguing me. It sounded so good because you have your wood, which is your dice, but you can split them up, like put them through a saw and then split your dice into different pips. And then you can glue them together and then trying to fulfill orders. So that's as much as I knew about this game, and I was really excited to give it a try. So I finally played it this week, and I'm just going to show you kind of quickly how the game plays and the components and how it is. But I was so impressed. This game was so good. It was so good. So I'm excited to show it for you. Let me change the camera here so you guys can have a peek. So here's the game. It's all set up right now for a two-player game. Um, and let me show you how this all works. So with the setup, we have, our helpers are set up here. We have our different contracts that are going to be there. These are going to be contracts that we can acquire, but we will start with some contracts in our hand as well. We have kind of public contracts or public things that we can score on, and these are set up here. It's one more than the number of players. So I've got the game set up for 2 players, so I've got the 3 over here. These things here are extra upgrades that I can do to my shop, but that I haven't done yet. So I have them ready in case I decide to do them. But I do start with a saw here. I do start with one of the splicing, I believe it was called. And everybody starts with a lantern. We actually also start with some dice. So we're gonna start with the brown dice. The brown dice is the most expensive, I guess, expensive dice, so it's higher quality dice, and we start with a 1 pip on this one. The yellow dice is going to be like our midline wood, so then that starts with a 2, and the green dice is starts with a 3, and we're gonna start with those dice. I'll set up the second player here after. We have our first player marker as well. We have some tools available here. These ones are considered to be scrap wood that you can add to your dice to make them a little bit bigger. These are little saws. And then this one is the glue, because you can glue some dice together as well. I have some aftermarket blueberries here. They're just kind of rubbery blueberries. These don't come with the game. I bought these on Amazon just to spruce up my game a little bit, because the currency in this game is blueberries. So otherwise they would just look like this, which is perfectly fine. But I just ended up buying these just to kind of, dress up my game a little bit. Um, at the top of this board here, this is the round tracker. And then after 4, we will do an income phase, and you do 4 income phase and so on. So that's the round tracker there. We have our income trackers here. So this is the acorn income, which is the acorn is your victory point basically. And then we have the blueberry income. So that's the currency. We also have over here our reputation tracker, and the reputation tracker is really cool because throughout the game we're going to be completing all bunch of these different orders, and the value of the order depends on how high you made it on the reputation track. So if you make it to this point here, then each contract would be worth 1 point, but if I'm able to make it further, they'd be worth 2 points. We do have a couple of these are kind of added randomly. I have them on the 2-player side now, and well, there's the 2-player and the 4-player side on this one. 2-player, the first one to make it past that bar would get a 3. In a 4-player, it would be like all 3. Like the first would get 1, the second would get the second one, and the third would get the third one. So that's how that works. And then we have on this main board, we're keeping track of the score as well. So we have a few extra cubes available. There'll be 4 extra cubes. These are going to be used for different things. So as your score your points. If you go above 50, 100, like you can put a cube on here to show that you've gone above that. When we select these ones, there'll be certain contracts that allow us to kind of secure one of these. We would put a cube on it to show that we can score it. Now, if during the same round somebody else can do it, then you would kind of both score it, but otherwise it doesn't share, like you get that. But let's talk about this board, because honestly, to me, this board is like the belle of the ball. This is what makes this game so amazing. So we have the 7 different action that are available, and it's in this rondelle. So when I select an action that I want to accomplish, let's say I'm doing this one, I would take it and it goes at the end of the next rondelle. And that's fine. And let's say the next player goes and they want, like, all 7 actions are still available. And let's say they wanted to do the same thing and they move it here. Well, it moves the thing here over. And this would now be on this end. And this means now that any action over here would get this benefit. And if there were actions here, they would get this benefit. And as you play the game, like if you stack a few, and then let's say this one ends up being here, this one ends up being here. Now, if I do this action, this one would get this benefit as well. So it's like that plays a big part of like selecting what you want to do. Just because the benefits can be so important, right? Now you'll notice this thing here moves around because there are benefits underneath here as well. So you can see there's benefits there. They just don't activate on the first turn. So we put a cover on it. Once all of those actions are gone, we can remove that cover, and then when the actions come back around, they'll be available again. But yeah, that one is so cool. I just absolutely adored the action selection portion of this game. I thought that really made the game. But let me show you all the different actions that are available. So I'll show you this one. So this one allows you to activate 2 gear abilities, so you can either do 2 gear abilities or you can do 1 gear ability and plant a tree for a value of 1 or 2 pips. So the way that works, some of the workers, well, all of the workers, you'll notice on the top corner have a little gear. So if you're activating a gear, you can collect what that particular worker does. This one gives you a yellow wood, a value of 2 pips, and a little saw. So that's what you would get if you activate this one. So we will be starting with 1 worker each. I haven't handed those out. We're going to be starting with a few. Well, actually with the workers, let's have a look. So we got the 2 sets of workers. First half of the game, we're playing with these ones. We would start with 3. And from those 3, you would pick 1 to keep. Some of the workers will have abilities on here. So this would be ongoing. Every time I get a worker, I would get a discount of 2. This is the cost. So if we were purchasing them, this would be their cost. However, the first one, we're just adding them. These ones don't have different abilities, but they do have those things. I'm going to take this one. The first time I played, I found blueberries were hard to come by. So having a worker that will allow me to get some blueberries seems like a good thing to do. So I'm going to put this on my board here, and that's the worker I'm going to be starting with. I'll put these back on the bottom here. Some workers have immediate abilities, so immediate bonus, and this one allows you to do an upgrade in your shop. Some workers, as I mentioned, has ongoing. Some have like an activation, so it's like a service. Let's see if I can find one. Like this one. So some have like an activation. When you activate your worker, you can then get this ability. And this allows you, sorry, I didn't explain the ability, but this ability allows you to increase the pip of a yellow dice by 1 or decrease it by 1. So there we go. So that's how that particular um, ability works. You would get to activate those gear at the top of your workers. Now you can also do a plant action. So the way that that would work is you would have to take the plant from your existing trees and you can put them into your plant. We start with a pot for the green dice. There are two more pots that would be able to get the yellow dice and the brown dice, but we don't have those yet. We'd have to upgrade our shop first. When you plant in the pot, you have to plant one or two. So it's a sapling that goes in there. So if I had a one, I would put it there. Now I have this tree planted. The benefit of that is at the start of each round, you would have it grow by two. So if I start with one, I would then have a size of three. At any time, you can take the wood that you have planted and put them back into your lumberyard, and then that would become available to you. But it's a great way of growing, getting like higher value pips, because if you're gonna buy a wood at a higher value, it's more expensive, right? So this is a neat action. All right, so we'll put it there to show that it's been used and explain. This one allows you to purchase wood 2 times. So we have the wood that is available here, so there's two of each. The way that you purchase wood is it costs you 1 blueberry per pip, so the bigger the wood, the more it costs. Plus, if it's a yellow dice, it's going to cost you 1 additional blueberry because yellow is mid-range wood. And if you want the brown dice, it's going to cost you 2 more blueberries because that's the better wood. So wood can become pretty expensive, but you can't do anything without wood. So wood is really important. So this is the ability to purchase wood. So there's that one. Then we have this action. This action allows us to purchase a new worker. So we have all the 4 workers that are available here. They have their costs in the top corner. So we would just be able to bring in a worker and add them to our board. One thing that's interesting with our board, as I mentioned, this one is already started. When you add a worker, it has to be adjacent to your other worker, but what you cover is something that you would get. So this one would give you blueberry. If I placed it here, I would get a victory point. So, and there's more that can be covered up. Now, if I ever cover these ones up, I would also get to activate up to 4 worker gears, and in this case, 6 worker gears. So this is neat, like kind of deciding where you want to place your worker to kind of get that particular bonus. All right, so that's how that worker action works. Then we have this action. This action allows us to sell wood. So that's the first portion. We can sell wood, and you would sell for up to 2 times the amount of pip on that particular wood. Then you can purchase a 6 valued dice of the wood of your choice. That would have to be different from the dice that you sold. And then, but then you'd have to pay the cost for that one to acquire it. So it'd be 6 pips, and depending on if it's a yellow or brown, it'd be an additional 1 or 2 blueberries for that. But that's one way to get funds. And we've had to do that quite a few times because blueberries are very hard to come by sometimes. This one is getting orders. So we will start with 1 order on our board, and actually I'll start with that. So we would get 5 of these. So we start with 5 of these, and we start with 2 starting ones as well. So you're going to keep the 2 starting ones. For these ones here, we would pick 2 to keep. We would discard 3, sorry. Let's have a look. So, and I'll show you what these look like. So on the bottom here, it indicates the wood that you're going to need to complete that order. So I would need a green 6 and a green 1. This one would be fairly simple to do. This is the reward that you would get. You would get 10 blueberries and 2 victory points. So that's pretty good. In the top corner here indicates where on your board this particular order would start. Let me move these things out of the way here because we don't need these right now. Okay, so if I has a 1, it means it starts at this level. And if I complete it when it's at this level, I would get that uh, 1 point on my reputation track. So that's pretty good. Now, at the start or during the income phase, all of your orders, if they're not completed, lowers down to 1. Now, over here, I would get 1 blueberry. If I drop down here, I would get nothing extra than these benefits. If I get down here, I would lose 1 victory points. And if it doesn't get completed, you lose 2 points on your reputation track. So you want to be careful to take only orders that you think you can complete. But you'll notice they all have different starting value, like of where they're gonna start. Um, some of the ones here, so like this one is a 3 reputation, so it starts at the very top. They tend to be a little bit more difficult to complete. And then you'll notice this one gives us 1 blueberry and 2 scrap woods to complete. So I would pick 2 of these to keep. So I'm going to keep this one because it's a board game. And I'll keep this one because it's fairly simple to start. I think it'll be easiest to get going with it. So I'll keep these 2. I'll discard these 3, and then these ones I get to keep as well. They're part of the starting ones. And you'll notice these ones have, as a reward, you can either secure one of these final scoring abilities or take 5 blueberries and 5 points. So you get the option of your reward at that point with these ones. Now, from the 4s that we are keeping, you would select 1 to put on your board, and I'm just going to select this one. The rest of them stays in your hand. At the beginning of or during each income phase, we're going to be adding 1 to add as well from the ones in our hand. So you're kind of limited at the orders that you're going to have available unless you do this order, this action. Sorry, I'm holding it upside down. Because this action allows you to do 1 order that you would see here, and you can add it to your board. Now, if I wanted, let's say, to do this one, I wanted to make a flute. It has, in the top corner, the location is the reputation 1. I already have 1 there. So it would go along this one to show that they're at the same level. You can stack them on. Of course, I would give myself more room. I'm trying to fit everything in the camera. But, so then when it would come to drop, they would both drop as well. So that's how that one would work. And it just gives you extra orders that you can add directly into your tableau so you can complete them. Now, the bottom action is after you do the first one. If you wanted to do 2 of them, it would cost you 3 blueberries to add 2 to your board. Now, let's say I did take this one. These would all slide down. This one is immediately replaced, and then I would have the option to do another one. Right? So that's how that action would work. Then we have this one here. So this is the option to do an upgrade on your in your shop. So we do start with this action here, this upgrade here, and we do start with 1 saw and then the 1 pot. So if we want to be able to do more splicing, this one here would allow me for 1 scrap wood, I can add 1 or 2 pip to a dice. And if I get this one, I can add 1 to 4 pips to a dice. So they're more powerful. It makes sense to get them. There are costs associated with getting them. So this one is going to cost me 2 blueberries to get, but it also increases my blueberry income by 1 and my acorn income by 1. So that's good. And then the other one cost me 3 blueberries, but it gives me 2 acorn income. So that's good as well. However, you need to do them in order. You can't get the 3rd one before you have the 2nd one. You also have on the bottom here the different pots. So I could get a 2nd pot so I could plant yellow trees, and then I could get a 3rd pot to plant brown trees as well. They're going to cost blueberries as well. You'll notice this one costs 4 blueberries. The 2nd one costs 5 blueberries. They each have an instant benefit of doing that. You get to get your pot, but it comes planted with a level 1 dice of that color. And then it also increases your acorn income by 1. And then for the saws, if you get the second saw, it costs 3 blueberries, but it does increase your acorn income by 1. And going forward, every time you buy a 6 value dice, and for any reason, you get a 2 blueberry discount. And then this one costs you 4 blueberries, but you get 2 reputation. You get to go up 2 on your reputation track. This one over here allows you to purchase the glue. So this would be the glue icon that you would add here if you did this one. The benefit of the glue is it allows you to add pips of 2 dice together, so you can make 2 small dice into a bigger dice. Now you can't glue dice that are of a value above 6. So keep that in mind. But it costs 4 blueberries to do this one, and it increases your blueberry income by 1, and it increases your acorn income by 1 as well for doing this. So these are the different upgrades that we can do with this upgrade action one here. And then the last action that we have here is the ability to go and purchase 2 types of, I would call them tools, and not really tools, material, I guess. So glue, scrap woods, or saw. And the way that you can purchase them, they're in the top corner. It all describes. Everything is very well described on the board, so I think that's cool. But with that, you can buy so 2 saws for 2 blueberries, or you could buy glue. 2 glue would cost you $1, or 3 glues would cost you 3 blueberries. You can do scrap wood. 2 scrap wood would cost you 1 blueberry. 3 scrap wood would cost you 3 blueberries. So, and you can do 2 different purchase. So that's how that ability works. We also have, from time to time, there'll be tools that would kind of be a benefit, like this card here. If you completed this one, you would get that particular tool. So if you get that particular tool, like it's right here, you get to add it to your board. Now, when you add a tool to your board, you have to kind of put along the bottom. If I had another one, but it's the same one, I can put it here. It doesn't activate this benefit. You need to have 2 separate tools to activate the benefit. So let's say I put a saw instead. Now I would get the benefit of activating one of the gear. And now that I have these 2 tools up here, I can pyramid style put my next tools up here. And then again, I would activate the benefit of the different tools. These tools are the same, so I wouldn't get the lantern, but these tools are different, so I would get the 1 acorn. So this is part of the game. You'll be kind of slowly adding tools to this. During my first play, I did very little tools. It just didn't come up with me. Lee ended up doing like 2 or 3 tools. But you could concentrate on contract that provides more tools and kind of build this up, right? Sometimes you'll have some of the final scoring that will kind of be depending on how many different tools you have. You would get more points, so then that's something as well. Another thing that I want to bring up is with the lantern. So we do all start with a single lantern. This lantern is going to allow you to do one of the action. So you can do, let's say I want to do this action, because it has that benefit of giving me a gear that I could activate. And this one, like I mentioned, would give me 4 blueberries for activating that gear action. So I want that benefit, but I don't really want to upgrade because maybe I don't have blueberries to upgrade. So I can spend one of my lantern to move this action token, but do any other action. So you can kind of change the action that you want to do. It's very forgiving. If you want to do a certain action, pretty much you'll be able to, unless it gets stuck, and that's a little bit that can happen, but not often. If you ever get 3 lanterns and you spend all 3 lanterns, it gives you 1 extra action you can do on your round. So it would give you a whole new extra action, which is great. This is the play order here. It kind of shows you how each round's going to work. So you're going to get to grow your tree if you have one planted. You're going to do your action, and this is where you can spend the the lantern to do a different action than the one you've selected, you can do free actions. Some of the free action, let me talk about that, is you can activate your saw. So I have a 3 here, so I could activate my saw. I would flip it over to show that it's been used. And then I can make this 3 into 2 dice, but I'd have to split the pips of the 3. So I would have a 1 and a 2. Now, if it was a 5, I could do a 1 and a 4, a 2 and a 3, and so on, right? So the bigger the value of the pip, the more like the more different options you have for what combinations you want to do. So in this case, I have a 2 and a 3, and then it would now be in there. That wood's been sawed into 2, so I have two separate piece of wood now, which is good because I have a 1 I could go plant now because I can't plant a 3 in my pot. So maybe that's what I was thinking of doing. If I had a saw, a little saw, I could, along with my saw action, spend a saw to cut the same wood further, and then I could turn this 2 into 2 1s. So now I would have 3 pieces of 1 wood if I sawed further, and I would spend the saw. So that would be an option. When sawing, you can saw once, but you can spend those little saws to cut them further, but it has to be the same piece of wood. So keep that in mind. All right, I'll make this go back into a 3. That'll go there. Now, the second free action that you can do is you can splice your wood. As I mentioned, we start with the top one here. So if you have a scrap wood, I can activate this. So again, I would flip it over to show that it's been spent, and I would add one of these to one of my wood, and it could be any one of them, and maybe I'm making my brown a 2 now instead of just a 1, and I would put this away. The other free action you can do is, if we had the glue, we could glue 2 pieces of dice together. So if I glued this one and this one, they're not the same color. If they're not the same color, it gives me 4 victory points for doing this. And you're going to find that most of the time when you're trying to glue wood together, it tends to be the same color wood because you just saw it or whatever happened, like it's what you had in your hand. But if I could make my brown one into a 5, or I could make the green one into a 5 and then discard the other. So I would pick what I want. And depending on the orders that I have, obviously in this case, I might want to keep my green, right? But that's what the glue do. It allows you to put 2 wood together, same color or different color, but there's a benefit to gluing different colored wood. Then, of course, if I did that, I would flip it over. The third thing that we can do as a free action here in the bottom corner here is we can do complete an order. So if I had the necessary wood for this, I could complete that order now and get the benefits. Now keep in mind your order, like your benefit and your free actions, can be done in any order that you want. So that's that one. And then this one is you would get to activate your one-time ability that your workers might have. And that's where you have this type of ability where you have that little circle thing. You can activate that once a turn, and then that would be a free action to do. Okay. Then at the end, after you've done all of your action, if I had 3 lanterns, I could do an extra action. Otherwise, I now have the option to buy points. So at the end of each round, you can buy points. It would start with this one. So the first option I have is spend 2 blueberries to get 1 acorn, and I could do that, and I move up in the marketing track. Next option, after the next round, I could spend 2 blueberries to buy 2 acorn. If I do that, I move up on this track, and so on. Like the last one is you spend 12 blueberries to get 11 points. 11 points is a lot of points, but 12 blueberries is a lot of blueberries. But there was a lot of points to be had this way. I think I had gotten to this stage. Lee had gone a little bit further. It was also one of the final scoring things. So however far you got on your marketing track, the more points you could get. So then there was benefits in growing that more. Um, so I think I've covered pretty much everything about this game. I'll just do a couple of rounds to show you how it works. So I'm first player. I would, let me reset this here. So I'll move these back over here. Doo, doo, doo. Okay. So I'm set. I'm going to do my first action. First action I'm going to do is I don't remember if we start with any blueberries. So I'll show you the rule book real quick here. So this is the rule book. Lots of great pictures in here. I'm quite liking that. There's two setup pictures. So you got the main board, how to set up the main boards, and then how to set up the player board. And I just wanted, yes, we do start with 12 blueberries. So I'm going to just take 2 of these for now, and then I'm going to take a 10 value to make it easier. What do I have here? I'll bring them here. Because you can keep them face down so people don't see how, oh, this one has a 10 on both sides. Oh, because they're single blueberries. I forgot. I haven't been using these at all. Okay, so I start with 12 blueberries. Like we were just using with these ones, but I wasn't going to take the time to dig out 12 blueberries. I'm going to reset everything here because I haven't done any of these. So you have the rule book. You also have this kind of handy that explains how each worker's abilities work, how the public contracts work, those final end game scoring cards. So they all explained here, which is great. They're easy to kind of get the details on them. Okay, so for my first action, I want to get working on completing this order, which is my only order right now. So I want to have a 6 wood and a 1 wood, both in green. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my saw as a free action to split this into a 1 and a 2. All right, so now I have a 1 and a 2 green. I'll put that there. And my action I'm going to do is I am going to do this one here. So I could activate 2 gear. I only have 1, so I'm not going to do that one. So I'll do the bottom and I'll activate 1 gear and plant a tree. So I'm going to plant this one here. So this is a 2. So now I have a little sapling. I'll put this here. And I also get to activate this gear on my worker, which gives me 4 blueberries. So I'm going to take 4 blueberries. So 2, 3, 4. So now I have 4 blueberries. And I activate that. Is there any more free actions I want to do? There isn't. So this would be the end of my round. Second player gets to go. I haven't given them anything, so we'll just kind of say that they bought wood and that. So let's see. So they bought wood. They're buying a 5 here and a 1 here because you can buy 1 or 2 wood. So that would go there. They have bought this. As soon as a wood is purchased, you roll and you put new wood in there. All right. And no, it's cheap wood. But they're pretty little, but we could plant these, so there's benefits to that possibly. Okay, so now it's my turn. I want to go again. No, sorry. It's not my turn yet. So, because they did their action, they're not doing any free action. We get the benefit if we want to purchase purchase points. So I'm going to spend 2 blueberries. I'll activate that, and then I would get 1 point. So you keep track of the points here. But if it was income, and the income has a little hand holding symbol underneath, so it would look different. But this one is just a strict points, so you add that to your point tracker. And now I've done that, so that's the end of the round. So now we're at the beginning of round 2. So we start by growing our tree. So my tree is now a 4. So that's good. I'm liking how that is going because I'm about to be able to accomplish this. What else do I want to do? I might want to start getting some more orders to do more stuff, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this order, get an order action. So the first one, there's no cost, and I'm going to take this one, and it just automatically gets added to my orders that I can complete. These shift over, a new order comes out, and then what else do I want to do? I'm about to spend all my green. I have a yellow, which I'm hoping to use for this. So there's that to consider. I don't think I'm going to take a second order because it is going to cost me 3 blueberries if I wanted to order a second order. So I'm going to stop it there. They're going to do their action. Let's say that they purchase, they'll purchase a worker, because this worker here is fairly cheap. It costs $2, 2 blueberries to get, but now every time you purchase, sorry, and I'll hold it better. So every time you get a 1, 2, or 3 pip tree, every time you purchase that, you get a 1 blueberry discount. So purchasing wood's going to be a little bit cheaper for them. So that's a pretty good. So this one would already, well, we'll give him another worker because he would start with one. So let's say he has this one, and now he has this one as well. If he covers this one up here, he would get a blueberry. If he goes there, he would get an acorn. Income. Oh, it's blueberry income. Let's go blueberry income. So he would go up on the blueberry income. So now every time we do the income phase, he's going to get a blueberry as income. So that's pretty good. So that's what he ended up doing. And then we're back to my turn. So, no, we're not back to my turn. We're over here. Now we have the option of spending 2 blueberries to acquire 2 points. So I'm going to do that. I'll spend 2 blueberries, get 2 more coins, 2 more points. All right, so that's that. And then we move forward. The turns are super quick. It feels like you don't do a whole lot, and then it's like income phase already. So I'm over here now, and now I started my turn, so I'm going to grow my tree, and it's now a 6. As soon as a tree grows to a 6, it automatically gets out of the pot and it goes into your. Now you can pull them out at any time you want, but when it reaches a 6, it can't grow any further, so it comes back. So that was that action. I get to activate another action over there. What do I want to do? You know what? I think I'm going to do this action because I may want to be able to have glue, which I can't do until I upgrade my shop anyways, but have some of these resources made available to me. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to buy, am I going to buy some glue? I'll do 1 and 1. So I'll spend 1 blueberries to get 2 blues. I'll take 2 blues, I'll go in here. And I'll spend 1 blueberry to get 2 scrap woods. Now, scrap wood I can do right away. Oh. Okay, so now I've spent those blueberries. I have those goods. I have done that action. As my free action, I'm going to complete this order. Now, this order, it cost me a 6 and a 1 green wood, so that would go back. And I get this benefit of 2 points and 10 blueberries. I'll just take 2 5s for now, like this. And that goes into my completed orders. You keep these because these are going to be worth points at the end, and the points that they're going to be worth depends on how much how far I've gone on the reputation track, right? So keep that in mind. So I've completed this one, and because it was in the 1 reputation track and I completed it in this row, I get to go up 1 on the reputation track as well. So now it would be the other player's turn. Let's say they decide that they want to do this action. Yeah, this action. Now, had they done one of these, they would get these benefits as well, right? So maybe I'll do one of those to kind of show. So they're doing this action. They're going to go buy another worker as well. They get the benefit of the 2 acorn because that was attached to that. They go, and every time you do the action, you go at the far end of the next quadrant. Now, if there was something in there, you go and you tuck behind it. If there was a gap, you don't fill the gap, you go at the end of what was there. Now, because we're moved into a new quadrant, this shifts over. So now that is there. There, oh, this would have shifted and refilled. And let's say that they buy, they're gonna spend 5, but this gives them ability to get wood, so that's pretty good. And then they get this one. They're gonna cover this one, which covers an acorn income. So then that goes up. Now they have lots of income. Well, they have income on both, and I have no income at all yet. So there's that going on. Then it's my turn. Now, if I do one of these actions, I get this bonus here because this has been revealed when the trial map rolled over. So I get this bonus now, which would be nice. So I would kind of keep that in mind because now we're at the end of the round. I can spend 1 blueberry for 2 acorns. I would do that. And then I would spend a blueberry, so I would get 4 back. Here we go. That was 5. All right. And then we would be at the start of the next round. So just to skip ahead and show you, here's what the income phase would show. And the income phase shows on here. So if I'm doing the income phase, all the orders drops by 1. Then we would take a new order from our hand because we have a deck of cards, and this would come out as well. So let's say I want to work on making my board game here. See, I have this one. So I'm going to add this one here. Then you collect the income. I don't have any income here yet, but blue player does. So they would get 1 point from their income, and they would get 1 blueberry from their income as well. And then you're going to, I didn't refill these ones. These would have refilled, but you get rid of these last 2. And it indicates on there which one goes away. There's a little X. So these go away, and then you get new cards out. So it kind of changes up what's going to be available. Keep in mind then those are going to go away. If you wanted to have it, you don't want to dilly-dally on it. It could go away. So yeah, so add the new order, remove the workers and the contracts, and then you refill them. So then now we're set up for the next one. If we were doing this income, there's this extra icon over here. These all go away. We would remove the first deck and go into the secondary deck. Same thing here. Remove this one, and we will now be working with our second level. So you would have your second level cards available at that point. So I've kind of showed you a little bit of everything on here. I have to start working because I did this before work in the morning. So I'm going to have to end this now. But this is just a quick overview of how it plays, Woodcraft plays. I was really impressed with this. The action selection is so cool. What to decide what to do. You really got to think ahead and get your wood that you need, grow it, get, and prep to be able to complete your orders. Such a great game. If you played it, let me know what you thought. If you haven't played it yet, I strongly suggest you give it a try. I just adored it. So I'm going to go to work. Bye, everybody.